Hi, and welcome to episode 8 of the Patcast. I am Landon West.
I'm Tyler Bennett.
And as you can see...
I'm Chuck Livingston.
What are you doing here?
Just got here. Sorry I'm late.
Okay. Oh. I guess he didn't get that memo.
What did I miss?
Quite a week in Patriot Athletics and elsewhere, as the Lady Patriots this past week at the Volleyball Gymnasium had a full slate of games against the Blazers of Valley View High School and the Lady Rams of Paragould High School. This was a spectacular matchup last Tuesday, one that both teams got to shine through, and I think that it's a good point to bring up that this was a revenge game. That's been a theme that we've been talking about on Monk Hour and things like that. Revenge, talk about that as pleasantly as you can, because we do have very pleasant girls with this.
It was the topic of a very good Drake song in the summer.
All summer 16.
Just something that coaches, smart coaches, whenever you're talking about the better coaches, they use it as a huge motivating tool. Whenever I think of revenge, I'm thinking of Nick Saban. So if we can compare our girls to a coach like Nick Saban and how efficient they are in these revenge games, I think that that's a huge compliment to them, and they got it done again against Valley View on Tuesday.
Yeah. So if we go back and look at the stats for the game against Valley View, you will see that Marion won every set, 25-22, 25-14, 25-20. None of these were in extra points. And the set number 2, 25-14, with a 9 out of 10 run to end it. How in the world did we turn that around so quickly against Valley View?
Well, it was a pretty big upset, I think, as you know.
Right.
I thought that, here's the thing. That was going to be an even game either way to me, no matter what happened, where they played it at. I felt like it was going to be an even game at Jonesboro. But as we mentioned, and I think as we talked about last week before the show, the preview, the run-up to that game on Tuesday, there is a certain edge, to this particular group of Lady Patriot volleyball players when they have lost an earlier game. They're a little sharper. They're a little more focused. They're a little more, locked in for that particular game. Now, I'm not one of the, I think that sometimes a loss can help. I think it definitely helped them here. And I think the huge crowd that was at Patriot Volleyball Gymnasium that night was huge, too. I wrote a column about it the day after. I thought the trench was incredible. I thought that all the fans and I thought everybody responded to it. I even felt inspired myself there in that moment. I thought I was in, Barnhill Arena that the Razorbacks volleyball team plays in. I thought it was excellent. I thought it was a perfect night. And, of all the volleyball games that have been played there over the past 21 years, I guess now. I think that's got to be one of the top 10 games I think you'll think of. Now, obviously, I can't remember all of them. I'm not going to pretend to remember all of them. But I think that when you look back on it, if you've been a follower of the program for, however long, I think that's one of the games you'll remember what you were doing that night, how excited you were, sort of a lot of details about the game. I just think that's one of them. It's probably the most memorable game I can remember since I've been there, aside from maybe North Little Rock last year, which was another revenge game at the gym.
So we talked with Gabby Catt and Ali Bermucci after that game, and they touched on some of these themes that we've covered so far.
All right, I'm joined now by our victors over Valley View tonight as the Lady Patriots sweep Valley View. What a sentence that is. The definitive exclamation point of the game, Gabby Catt to take 3-0. Ali Bermucci in what was almost known as the Avenge Allie's ankle game. So I want to start out with Allie on that. That weighed on your mind, I know, just a little bit, because this is the one where last time it didn't go our way, and it wasn't by anyone's fault, but that was obviously a part of it. How does it feel that it's not 100, but you were able to pull that off, not 100?
A lot better. I was so excited for this game. I'm just excited that we came out here and we just gave it all.
How does it feel right now?
It's good.
Okay, cool.
Weird though that one of their players got hurt in the ankle too.
Tit for tat on that. So, volleyball gods, whatever. So that will be in the conversation, I'm sure, when these seedings occur. But my question for you is, you had a big night at the net blocking. What every night for you is a big night. You had some very tall offenders and outside hitters. How do you manage that so well?
I just make sure I get there just to make sure I'm at my highest point when they're at their highest point, just to get the block.
And it looked like that was playing against them because they were kind of coming down and then hitting, like they had already reached it. Did y'all notice that too, or?
Yes. It's them making the mistakes, and that's all I'm like.
And Valley View does not make mistakes very often, right?
No, I think we shook them up a lot.
I think that's true too. So, Allie, moving forward now, I think this has kind of cleared your mind about all of this moving forward. What is your mindset now that Valley View is in the rear view for the rest of the year, and you still have an ankle to manage and things like that with this team? What are y'all looking forward to moving forward now?
I think we just need to keep playing like we did tonight. Tonight was probably about the best we've played all year, and I think we've just –
Except the serves. I do want to mention that.
Mine was bad, but okay. But I think we were kind of in a slump for a little bit, but I think we're over it now, and I think we're just going to be good the rest of I think we're going to keep playing.
One last idea, theory for both of you. You had an early exit on Saturday. Was that a good thing for this game?
Yes.
Okay.
It opened our eyes to see what we're actually made of.
Okay, so you wouldn't think that this was a strategic loss to get more rest or anything, or?
I think just losing that game made us realize what we needed to work on, and that we needed to just work together more. And then it made us want to win more.
Well, guess what? Y'all have won tonight, 3-0, and you got Paragould coming in, another stout team that you've already defeated once this year. So looking forward to that one. So we'll toss it back to you.
All right, guys, and we're back. So let's go over just a few of these stats from Valley View because not one in particular is going to jump out at you until you look at the score. With attacking, Annalie Parker was 17. Sarah Betts had 11 of them, Allie Bermucci with 5, and Gabby Catt with 4, most notably the one that ended the game. 3 aces from Bermucci, 2 from Parker, and then a couple each from Catt, Betts, and Burford. Blocks, only 3 registered for the night, 1 for Catt, Parker, and Bermucci. Digs, Hope Phipps, model of consistency, as we have made mention many times, 27. 14 for Parker, 10 for Burford, 9 for Bermucci. Assists, Allie Bermucci, 20. Catt had 15. And then everything else just kind of falls to the wayside and doesn't really get tabulated, which is a shame because there were other stats that obviously get to contribute to their success. 25-22, 25-14, 25-20. What these girls were talking about was just how much they were able to feed into this game because of, one, avenge Allie's ankle, and also being a part of such a great atmosphere, having just come off of win number 500, and also a little bit of that motivation factor from losing very early at play day. I think that our Lady Patriots have found some kind of new mid-season stride now, and that makes them very, very dangerous, especially when you compare it to a team that just lost their first game at our hands. So how do you feel moving forward now, even with Paragould having been played?
The only thing I can really say is shoot or shoot. You're getting in this point of the season where the marathon does start to turn into a sprint. So, and the Lady Patriots, like you said, they found their stride. They're in full sprint mode right now. If there is a team that can stop them, I'd like to see it because that would be an incredible matchup. But until we have that, Lady Patriots are going to be a force to be reckoned with for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and here's something that people kind of forget, because of this wonky conference system they've got now. Valley View is an awesome team. They're very good. They've got a great tradition. I think they've won 15 state volleyball titles since the 80s. I mean, just a ton. But that's not a team that Marion's going to play in the state tournament. I mean, would you fear Valley View in a state tournament setting, single out, neutral site? Yeah, they're a team to be reckoned with. There's no question. But that's not the reality. The reality is it's probably going to be Marion and Greenwood again, round 3, year number 2 in the finals again. I can't act like I know a lot about Greenwood. I think they're going to see them in Conway next weekend. This weekend coming up. But that's probably about as good as they're going to get for Class 6A competition, barring something completely unforeseen. So, you kind of think of the Lady Pats as the San Francisco Giants, and I hope I don't regret pointing this out in about 2 weeks. They're just a team that always starts to play their best at the right time. I say that even 2 years ago with Marion, when this group was sophomores. They won their first 7 conference games, kind of had a lull in the middle, but then sprinted to the final and just got, beat by Russellville. And, of course, last year they started really slow, 2-2, I believe. Of course, they finish the season by winning the state title. So, like I said, it does. I mean, all the wins are the same. They mean the same. Every game is meaningful, but it just seems like they've discovered some formula or something like that, and it's pretty impressive. And that was an impressive match.
Yeah, so the Lady Patriots definitely took that momentum from beating Valley View. Any team is going to take momentum from beating Valley View. They're just that good. And like you said, that's the end of that matchup this year. So I hope that we can look back and say that we're definitely proud of the two efforts we gave, even though one of them did have a loss. But if you remember, it was 17-17 with Lady Patriots in the match lead at that point when Allie's incident happened. Really quick, Chuck, maybe you know something about this. With regards to conference title, how did that help?
Oh, it was huge. This is a great one. First of all, Valley View had to take a loss somewhere for Marion to be involved in the conference title, the blended conference title. Now, that doesn't mean what it used to mean back in the old days where it clinches you a number 1 seed, but it probably will. What it does mean is that they both got one loss, Marion and Valley View. Now, Marion's got a big game at Jonesboro next Tuesday, which is a dangerous game. They should be on there, they should be up for. I don't think that'll be any issue, but it looks likely like they're both going to be 15-1 in the conference, both teams. If they both go 15-1, they'll be 6A, 5A East co-champions. But since Marion beat Valley View in 3 sets and they won in 4, Valley View, then it'll be a situation where Marion will have it. They were going to be co-champions regardless, but Marion's got a clear claim on the conference champion.
Moving on from Valley View. Wow, that's a wonderful thing to say. With a win,
On to Paragould.
the Lady Rams of Paragould High School were welcomed into Patriot Volleyball Gymnasium as Patriot alumni. Reed Fogelman, now a head coach at Paragould, brought in her Lady Rams. This was a very scrappy game at Paragould. We call it the pep band game, and their student section very well known to us now, at least. But up there, the Lady Patriots were trying to bounce back from that loss against Valley View and dropped the first set, and then came back and dominated, held them to a single-digit score in sets 3 and 4. So for the Lady Rams, I wonder what their mindset do you think was going into this game? Do you think they had cobwebs? Because it really wasn't the most competitive game we've seen from them.
I think it's probably the same as any other time. I think they probably were after a signature win. They had lost twice to Valley View. They had lost twice to Jonesboro, I think. Marion got them up there. I think they were probably looking for a big win to sort of, take home and say, all right, we can build on this. Here's a big win for us. It's just like anybody else. And you can see the future for that team. I think they're now 10-10. They've got some big girls. They got a girl who's probably 6'1" out there, I would say. I don't know her name. I forget her name, but they got some.
It's
high,
Beasley.
Beasley, yeah. They've got some. They've got some players, and it's one of those deals where this particular Marion team, even like good teams, competitive teams, they just seem to do that to them. I think that especially Reed, knowing about her career at Marion as an athlete, she's going to figure it out. But again, it's her first year there, and she doesn't quite have everything going her way exactly. But in 2 years, that's going to be another dogfight. That'll be a Valley View, Jonesboro-esque game. And But the other night, Marion was just, especially at home after a big win, you didn't get the impression there was going to be much of a letdown there.
Yeah. So looking at box scores, the set totals for Paragould were 15, 13, and 18, which were more competitive on average than how they appeared in their winning sets up there. Leading the way with attacking, Sarah Betts with 12. Allie actually had 9, and Annalie had 8. Serving aces, Sarah Burford had 4, led the way on that. I don't think we've announced her name with regards to serving, so that's fantastic. Sarah Betts actually had 3 aces. Blocking, of course, it was the Gabby Cat show with 3 blocks. And Diggs, Hope Phipps, 15. A little bit lower on that one. I noticed that as well.
Annalie had a good game.
Yeah, Annalie had 11, but it seemed like they were capitalizing on throwing Paragould off just like they were doing against Valley View. You saw some off balls and, where you just kind of roll shot it over from a poor set or something. Do you think that anything specific about that night was playing into Paragould's minds with it being such a 3-0 typical game for Marion when, we were up for Paragould first time?
Oh, I think the difference between the first time in Paragould and the second time was the Valley View games beforehand. The girls, the first time it seemed like they were just trying to rebound and, not make any mistakes at first and just try and make things go right for once after what happened in Valley View, because they did have a new situation. They had to throw in some new people after Bermucci went down, so it was kind of a learning curve the first time in Paragould.
Yeah.
This time around, you're completely healthy. You just beat Valley View at home, and now you got Paragould at home again. And I just think that the mindset for the Lady Patriots was full speed ahead right here, and
Take care of
the
business and go
results
home.
showed it.
Yeah. So with that 3 zip sweep of Paragould Lady Patriots, advance their record to 23-2 on the season, and they have hit full stride. With that being said, this week, I think last time we kind of referenced it as an off week because Allie was injured. It's by no means an off week when you're getting ready for a district tournament. And also you have to play your crosstown rival. So tomorrow night, actually be tonight, by the time we get this out, the Lady Patriots take part with the Lady Blue Devils in a very unique game, one that this community is very proud of on both sides of Interstate 40. It's our annual pink game where both teams are decked out in pink, celebrating and honoring the fight against breast cancer. And we won't say who because we want it to be a surprise, but come on out as each team gets to recognize a person who has dealt with or is honored in some way for their fight against cancer. Now, obviously, this is a very somber, stoic celebration. I know that sounds kind of oxymoronic, but that's the way we treat this. But there is a game behind it, as the Lady Patriots will take on the Lady Blue Devils, and we look forward to seeing that game. This is a game that obviously, as much as a state-renowned program Marion has, and West Memphis may be on the uprising right now with theirs, both teams equally still want to win this as much as any game within this school rivalry. So what do you expect from Lady Patriots and Lady Devils tomorrow night? The same thing, just in pink, or what do you think? That was your quote last year.
Yeah. Again, I don't recall that. Yeah, I don't recall that. I don't know what I said. No, I mean, it's a big game for Marion. They can't afford to slip up here at home, no matter who it is. West Memphis will be up. I thought they played one of their better games. Walking on eggshells over here. Marion can't afford a loss right now. So, I think they'll be ready to play. We'll see.
I think West Memphis is a better team than we've seen in the past. Definitely one that you can't sleep on if you're the Lady Patriots, but I just don't think that West Memphis is quite there yet. So
No, but that's not necessarily any type of indication against anyone there because they like we talked about the sentiment of family. They go to school together at MSCC or ASU Mid-South, and I think Marion is just out to take care of business, and West Memphis is out to maybe shock a few people. So best of luck to both teams. Be out there and celebrate and wearing pink in the trench. This is a night for this community to celebrate and come together and put a nice hand on each other. All right.
Looking forward to the pink game. Looking forward to seeing you out there.
Here, I'll do it. There you are. Moving forward from that, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Next Thursday.
Thank you, Lord.
Thursday, they take on the Lady Chickasaws of Blytheville. I don't know if there's anything that really we can add to this.
Same thing, just in blue.
Maybe. Who knows what they'll play in.
Yeah, right.
Red or blue. So I think both of these are going to be 3-0 sweeps. Anything against that?
It would be hard for me to find any ulterior prediction.
Okay.
Using the TV term again, sweep week.
Cool. And from that, we transition now to football as the Patriots took on the Hall Warriors, who blew a 3-1 lead. Never mind.
Yep.
I had to get in on it.
Excellent name
They
usage.
took on the the Warriors of Little Rock Hall last Friday. I was on the road. Radio went out about Little Rock, so after that it was all text messages. Guys, you're going to have to take the helm on this one with what was going on. So I'll tell you what, you come right here. All right, and then you come. All right, and go.
This is weird. I don't.
Alrighty.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Little Rock Hall traditionally is not a football power. Okay. I mean,
They blew a 3-1 lead in the NBA Finals.
and they blew a 7-6 lead the other night at
Yeah.
Patriot Stadium. Having said that, thought this was a really good get-well performance by Marion. Coach Davis admitted as much after the game in his office. Post-game presser. Basically, he said, it was good for the soul after a game like last week, an emotionally draining experience that I'm not going to go into. Those are his words, not mine. After a game like that, they really needed to get well in a hurry. Little Rock Hall is a team that, he admitted they had athletes. They made some things happen. But I thought this was a great performance by the Marion defense. No matter who they're playing, they held them to right at about 200 yards of offense, just the one touchdown. They did put together a couple drives that ended in Marion territory, but they also forced 3 turnovers and scored with 2 of them. Kenta Jones scored on a scoop and score. And our boy Anthony Switzer, no relation to Barry, the former Cowboys coach, had a pick 6 as well. And you like to see that because, Hall is a team that, they are better, they're improved, but for Marion to not overlook it and win and be able to max out, get their 13-point win, and even invoke the mercy rule, which is you got to like that before they go on the road this week. I thought this was a good performance by Marion. I'm not trying to act like Hall is world beaters or anything like that, but they won it the way they were supposed to win it. They defended their home turf. And now they're 2-3, and they got a really big game on Friday. Monk.
Yeah, again, you're talking about the defense. They held Hall to 87 rushing yards after West Memphis a week ago just
Gashed them.
gashed them running the ball. So
That's a compliment.
very good job by the Patriot defense to respond there. Little Rock Hall is, we'll say they're rebuilding. That's about all you can. That's the nice way
I like
of
their
saying it.
quarterback. McGraw threw some pretty good balls.
McGraw looked very good.
yeah.
Some of their receivers, they just made some plays. I have no clue. From the booth, it looked like it was like they were having to grab them from the Patriot receivers' hands. So those are some pretty strong receivers that Hall's got too. But again, the struggle and the thing that's cost them so many games was Hall's defense, and the Patriot offense was more than capable of taking that challenge. It should have been a lot worse. A ton of dropped passes in wide open, so need to work on that in the week. But other than that, just a solid performance for the Patriots so far. against Hall.
Yeah, like I said, and that's one they needed. They didn't need to follow up that physical performance the previous Friday with another. Imagine if they had to play Searcy the previous week, or Jonesboro or somebody like that. Man, that could have really gotten bad. Now they get their wind under them a little bit. Some of their regulars got some breaks and things like that. And they're able to sort of get their minds right. You know what I mean? Because there's still a lot of goals in play for this team. This is 1-1 in the conference, 2-3 overall. But and as I wrote in my gamer on Sunday afternoon, that's 2 weeks in a row they had blown a second half lead, Marion. They blown one to Blytheville early, granted, but then they blown one to West Memphis. And you start to wonder, are we closing it out? I thought they responded well the other night and didn't even really play their best game. And so when you can win like that and not play your best game, I think that's a good thing.
How much better is it that the Patriots have Hall coming out of West Memphis instead of Cabot?
So much better. That's like going from one monster to another one. It's because that was the situation the last couple of years, and it's just wow, just kick us while we're down, But now, like I said, they'll get their feet, and like I said, they got a big one this week, and they got to be ready for the Searcy Lions, and that's a team that's really been on the come up lately. And I think, are we inviting Landon back?
Yeah, I'm good. So transitioning now into that, as the Patriots did grab that 47-7 victory, the talk about Searcy this year, we call it Monk's Maulers.
Searcy's offense is pretty much exactly like West Memphis's. They love to run a lot of sniffer back, love to spread it out and run. That's going to be the primary deal they do. Their running back had a really, really good night against West Memphis last week. Their quarterback and passing situation's a little bit down. I can't think of his name, but we were talking about him. He graduated. Luke Dixon graduated from Searcy. So they are struggling a little bit there at the quarterback position. There were some short, wide open slanting routes that he just threw short on. Like, these were easy 5-yard slant routes, and they were going into the dirt.
So he throws it downfield fine, but he throws the short pass?
Yeah, his short pass was very weird. And with the downfield passes, most of the time, from what I saw on film, either a West Memphis player either trips over himself and the receiver gets wide open, or there was one play where a West Memphis player tips it, a Searcy player tips it, and it lands in another Searcy player's arms, and he goes for a touchdown. So that's how Searcy scored their first touchdown of the game.
So a little bit of a circus act here.
They had a little bit of a circus act for their
Lions.
passing game.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So obviously we have some indication. We've played West Memphis, who runs it similar. They played West Memphis last week. We know that was well seen by people here. And obviously with technology and rules on exchanging, these two schools know each other. Now here's the deal. West Memphis, just like Marion just like West Memphis, both teams have kind of been left behind by Searcy's coaching swap. Do you remember this? Can you talk about, what's his name?
Mark Kelly's the guy that's there now.
Okay.
No, they've actually had 3 head coaches since 2012. This is actually check out today's Evening Times for a column on this very thing. But basically, they have had some turmoil as far as the coaching position goes. They had a guy, I think his name was Mark Keener in 2013. He was there for 1 season. He left. Then they moved on to Jeremy Poole, who was an offensive mind. He was there for 1 season. He might have been there for 2 seasons, and Kelly was there in 15 and now 16. So they've kind of had a revolving door a little bit. Now, the thing is that they've always elevated a coordinator from their staff. So they've kept it in-house a little bit, but it's been so the concepts are the same. But again, it seems like they're hitting a home run. Searcy's 4-1 this year. They're 2-0 in the conference. Now, they've always sort of struggled against the Cabots of the world, and the North Little Rocks and the Little Rock Centrals, but doesn't everybody?
Yeah,
it
who
seems
hasn't?
like. Right. You know, they've even competed with
Sit down,
Jonesboro.
Jonesboro. You did too.
Iron sharpens iron. But the point is here. I like you, Jonesboro. I love y'all. The point is that Searcy, when they're against school, they're a tough team. You know, they've got a good program that's really rolling right now. They've got a clue. They've got playmakers. Like I said, they're 4-1 this year, and they're in a position to be in a big game like this. And really, it is a big game. You look ahead as far as the conference goes this week. Outside of Jonesboro and Pine Bluff, this is probably the game in the 6A East, because you've got West Memphis and Little Rock Hall. West Memphis should win that, and that would leave Mountain Home and Jacksonville. That's a pillow fight. So, you're talking about, all eyes will be on Jonesboro for Pine Bluff, Jonesboro, but Marion Searcy is going to be very interesting. Now, like I said, can Marion win on the road against Searcy? We'll find out. But again, I know Marion's happy to be back in the mix too. If they're able to beat Searcy on Friday, no matter how ugly or pretty it may be, they're right back in the mix for their goals as well.
It's homecoming. Now, we know that we work under coaches last year, in years past. Coach Clay's not one for distractions. I think Coach Jed Davis, if I remember last year, the week leading up to homecoming, felt like our team was extremely distracted by that. It doesn't matter where you are. You're dealing with teenage boys who are going to, be dealing with walking pretty girls or whatever for homecoming. And does that play the bigger role than weather? Because I tend to believe that it does, because there's so much that you have to account for. Weather is you got what you got. What do you think about homecoming being?
I agree with you 100%. I think this is a deal where, you've got it's not a normal day, right? You're at school all day. You let out, like you said, you come to the arena if you're Marion. I'm sure Searcy does the same. You present the royalty, you have your pep rally, you have your parade. That's what Marion does anyway. Have your parade, then all day, then you get to the stadium early, and then they have the presentation of the royalty to the crowd before the game. And there's nothing about it that's normal, And of course, like I said, last year I think the weather kind of pushed it into overdrive. But I even feel like for me last year, it was a weird day. You're kind of like out and about all day. You're doing this, you're picking up with this, and before you know it, it's 5 o'clock and it's time to go out there. So yeah, I think it's not your average game. Athletes you always hear about them being in a routine. I want to hit at this time. I want to take grounders at this time. I want to throw the ball at this time. Well, homecoming, that's kind of off. You can do all that stuff and prepare in the field house in the locker room with the coaches, but it's not your normal day where you can go out to the stadium and stretch and warm up, because they've got it ready for the royalty. And I think it's a great thing, but I do think it's a distraction as well.
Right. One of the biggest things that I remember our coaches saying last year was the professional development day when the kids don't go to school. Warm-ups were the best they had. Now, that was against North Little Rock, so the scoreboard doesn't necessarily show that, but there is something to be said about having to play homecoming game against someone like Marion or whomever, because one little slip can be a slippery slope, so especially in these games. All right, so we're going to change up fast take picks because I've kind of realized we're going to pick Marion a lot, and that's just not the best way that we can articulate our expectations for this game. So we're going to go to the keys of the game, if you want to call them major keys of the game. DJ Khaled, please don't sue us.
They don't want us to break the
Major
game
key
down.
alert.
All right, so Monk, your major key alert to winning the game for the Patriots.
The major key is going to be stopping the Searcy running game. This is a really good running back. Probably the best I've seen on film so far.
How big's the line, offensive line?
They're big. They're country big. You know that
Oh,
kind.
great.
So this is a really good running team. I just hope Searcy doesn't figure that out because they want to pass the ball.
Yeah.
That's the main thing they want to do is pass. And as soon as they figure out that they're a running team, that's going to be trouble for a lot of teams.
Are you helping them right now? Should we edit
I
that
ain't
out?
watching this.
You'd be surprised.
That's very similar to, I think, Marion's philosophy, too, with having Tom Young. Major key to the game.
Protect Peyton Walker. Yeah, this has been something they've harped on all year. I had to ask Coach about it the other night after the game because even against Little Rock Hall, a team whose struggles we've outlined on this very show, they allowed 4 sacks. You know, and this is I think he threw it 24 times. They have to protect Peyton. You know, this is a guy that you need him to distribute the ball to your playmakers, right? But you've got to keep him upright as well. Colin Chambers, Taylor Brown, Ryan Robbins, screen passes to Tom Young. He's got to be in an upright position to do that. If Searcy's giving him less than 4 seconds, Marion's going to struggle to move the ball, whether they run it with Tom or not. If they can protect Peyton, keep him upright, limit the sacks to 2 or 3, because it's going to happen. I think Marion can win this game. You know, like I said, and Coach Davis made a very interesting point the other night. He said that, you know, they're starting 3 sophomores on this line right now. And he said that at a certain point, you stop being a sophomore and you're a seasoned guy, you're almost like a young junior. 5 games now they've played together on the varsity against varsity competition. At some point, if it's going to happen, the game's going to slow down for them. They're going to block. They're going to know the assignments. They're going to hook it up. If it's this week 6, I think Marion can win a game in Searcy, and it would be, I mean, other than Lake Hamilton, I think probably Davis's biggest win at Marion yet.
For me, major key, receivers, you have got to pipe it up on this one because these boys, I don't think that their corners and their safeties can really keep up, but I know they can't on slants. Just how quick strikes from Peyton Walker come right now. So give Colin a break. I know he wants every pass. He probably deserves every pass that we give him. But Taylor Brown, Ryan Robbins.
All fantastic.
Yeah, they are fantastic. But the
Sensational.
names that we called during that Jackson game, it was a lot of Colin, and Taylor had one big over the middle.
Taylor actually had the big game the other night against Hall, 98 yards receiving, I think.
Okay, so like I said, I wasn't there. It's one of those things where I think that we need to call more names than just Colin Chambers now, and I think that that's a perfectly good balanced strategy to keep them on their toes. I think all 3 of those are capable of leaving Searcy defenders behind. So let's get some more names called out from the wide receivers and perform like he did against Jackson. I think that there are some similarities to Jackson and Searcy when it comes to defense, not necessarily offense, but defensively. It could be a very, very good game. If we were going to do those fast take picks, the traditional ones, my score would have been a track meet. But again, that's just my favorite type. So, guys, it's going to be a fun week. We talked a lot about homecoming. Well, that's ours next week, so we won't repeat the conversation, but we'll just make sure that we offer what Marion can do to minimize that because, you know, even though he called it a pillow fight, you still got to respect them. So,
Tongue-in-cheek somewhat. Probably not, though. Not really.
yeah.
My bad.
I was going to say, we took our shots at them during that commercial. We
Sorry, Mountain Home in Jacksonville.
Oh, well.
Sorry, guys. Sorry,
right.
Decon. Don't text me.
All right, so until next week when we welcome Decon and all them back here, I am Landon West
I'm Chuck Livingston.
Tyler Bennett.
saying bye, Felicia, and
Go Pats.